On September the 24th, 2017, that is in 3 weeks, the German federal parliamentary election will take place. The seats of the Bundestag, or the lower house of the German federal parliament, will be elected. There will be a minimum of 598 deputies, very likely somewhat above 600 deputies because of the electoral system. The reason being that there are 299 deputies who are elected according to the British style first past the post system from single member electoral districts with plurality. However, the party or parties that get a greater portion of those single member districts than their percentage of the popular vote would entitle them to receive will get extra or overhang seats. And then approximately half of the deputies are elected from party lists with a 5% vote threshold. In other words, normally only those parties that get over 5% of the vote are entitled to these second seats or party list seats. There is a loophole in the German electoral law which states that if a party manages to elect 3 direct seats or plurality seats, then even if its overall federal share of the vote would fall below 5%, it still would get a proportional share of the party list seats. The most recent case when this happened was in 1994, when the Party of Democratic Socialism, composed mostly of former East German communists, managed to win 4 direct seats. And even though overall, federally, it received under 5% of the vote, it received a proportional share of the party list seats. According to the recent opinion polls, the main governing party, center-right Christian Democratic Union, is expected to easily remain as the largest party with between 36 and 39% of the vote. Its junior coalition partner, the Social Democrats, are only expected to receive between 22 and 25%. And there is quite a huge race for the third largest party's status. The left, a combination of former East German communists and left-wing Social Democrats, is expected to win between 9 and 10% of the vote. The Greens are expected to get between 6.5 and 8% of the vote. The liberal, business-oriented and strongly pro-European Union Free Democrats, who narrowly fell below the vote threshold in the 2013 German parliamentary elections, are expected to return to parliament with between 7 and 10% of the vote. And then the center-right, somewhat populist and Eurosceptic Alternative for Germany, or Alternative für Deutschland, is expected also to be represented in the next Bundestag with between 8 and 11% of the popular vote. So mathematically, of course, the easiest coalition would be a continuation of the current grand coalition of Christian Democrats and Social Democrats. Should the Social Democrats, however, in order to have a greater chance to get to power in the 2021 Bundestag elections, decide to move to the opposition, then there would be various possibilities, depending, of course, on the degree of overrepresentation by the parties that manage to get to the Bundestag, and then depending on exactly how many votes the Christian Democrats and Free Democrats receive and how many seats. Technically, they could try to form a traditional Christian liberal coalition. However, if either they do not get an absolute majority of seats in the Bundestag, which is crucial for the election of the federal chancellor and, of course, for his or her continuance in office, in this case her continuance, because Mrs. Angela Merkel, the German Christian Democratic Union's leader, wants to remain federal chancellor at least for another term. She has been in office since 2005. Or if they don't have a clear majority, if their majority is only a few seats, then they would need another coalition partner. Whether the left, which is unlikely to join a Christian liberal coalition, or the Greens, which might perhaps join the coalition under certain conditions, or then the somewhat populist and Eurosceptic alternative for Germany. Then, of course, another chance would be for Federal Chancellor Merkel to ask for a vote of confidence and then to make sure that the Bundestag does not give her a vote of confidence, and then to ask the federal president to dissolve the Bundestag and call new elections, provided that within 3 weeks of the Bundestag's denial of the vote of confidence, the Bundestag would fail to elect a successor to Federal Chancellor Merkel with the required absolute majority of its members. So it will be interesting to see what kind of election results there will be in 3 weeks in Germany, and of course what kind of coalition government will be formed by November, or at the very latest by December.